nirashishaha. Shreyas kama nirashishaha. Visrijyo bhayatak sangam. Visrijyo bhayatak sangam. Munayak samupasate. Munayak samupasate. Tavaiva charanambojam. Shreyas kama nirashishaha. Visrijyo bhayatak sangam. Munayak samupasate. Munaya samupasate. Ladies. Tavaiva charanambojam. Shreyas kama nirashishaha. Samupasate. Tavaiva charanambojam. Shreyas kama nirashishaha. Visrijyo bhayatak sangam. Munaya samupasate. Tava. Your. Eva. Indeed. Charana ambojam. Lotus feet. Shreya kamaha. Persons desiring the ultimate auspiciousness. The ultimate goal of life. Nirashishaha. Without material desire. Visrijya. Giving up. Ubhayataha. In this life and the next. Sangam. Attachment. Munayaha. Great sages. Samupasate. Worship. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Pure devotees are great saintly persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires for sense gratification. Engage constantly in the transcendental service of your lotus feet. Purport. One is in the material world when he thinks, I am this body, and everything with reference to my body is mine. Ato griha kshetra sutta apta vitayar janasya mahoya mahamameti. This is the symptom of material life. In a materialistic conception of life, one thinks, This is my house. This is my land. This is my family. This is my state, and so on. But those who are munayaha, saintly persons, following in the footsteps of Narada Muni, simply engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, without any personal desire for sense gratification. Anyaha bilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam. Either in this life or in the next, the only concern of such saintly devotees is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, they are also absolute, because they have no other desires. Being freed from the dualities of material desire, they're called Shreyas Kamaha. In other words, they are not concerned with dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, or kama, sense gratification. The only concern of such devotees is moksha, liberation. This moksha does not refer to becoming one with the Supreme like the Mayavadi philosophers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that real moksha means taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Personality of Godhead. The Lord clearly explained this fact while instructing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted to correct the word Muktipade in Srimad Bhagavatam, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed him that there is no need to correct any word in Srimad Bhagavatam. He explained that Muktipade refers to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who offers mukti, and is therefore called Mukunda. A pure devotee is not concerned with material things. He's not concerned with religiosity, economic development, or sense gratification. He is interested only in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Tataiva charanam bojam shreyas kama nirashishaha visrijyo bhayatak sangam munayak samupasate. Pure devotees or great saintly persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires for sense gratification engage constantly in the transcendental service of your lotus feet. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripadamaham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasundubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everybody. With the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes a short but very interesting commentary to this verse, and I'd like to share it with you. The conduct of the great souls proves that you have this nature. This is Lord Shiva, Mahadev, speaking to Vishnu. He's excited to see Mohini Murti. So he's saying the conduct of the great souls proves that you have this nature. The sages worship your lotus feet, not mine. People with material desires, they worship me. Shreyas Kamaha here means those who desire bhakti. Just as your devotee has no material desire, you also have no material desire. You are not like me with a desire for power, who am dependent on my worshippers. So here we see in this purport, in this scenario, that Lord Shiva is taking the humble role. He's taking the humble position in front of Lord Vishnu, and he's not proud of his great potency. Normally in this world, everyone is proud of something. Have you noticed? Even a beggar is proud of his penny, right? Oh, I have something. Srila Prabhupada once mentioned he was in Howrah Station in Calcutta. How many of you have been in Howrah Station? Yes. If you haven't been in Howrah Station, you have missed something, like it's an experience. And he saw one man, he was carrying pieces of half-burned wood through Howrah Station. So he was thinking, Prabhupada is commenting that this person considers this as something very valuable. He's thinking, I have something, I have some asset, I have some pieces of half-burned wood, and he's carrying them through Howrah Station. So, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavat Bhajanon Mukhasya. Krishna says that if a person does not claim any proprietorship, that doesn't mean they don't have any possession, but they're not claiming proprietorship. You may have many things. You may have family, house, business, etc. But if you don't claim proprietorship, which means you don't identify, you don't define yourself by these things, then, in fact, if you don't claim and don't think that anything in this world is worthwhile possessing except Krishna, Krishna's lotus feet, which means devotional service to Krishna, then Krishna says, then I become your property. That's pretty good, right? Because if you have Krishna as your property, you got everything. You're all good. You're covered. You don't need anything anymore. So here in this commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's explaining that your devotees, Vishnu's devotees, they don't have any material desires, as you don't have any material desires. Prabhupada quotes this verse, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anavkulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. That Uttama Bhakti, or pure devotion, is defined by having no desire. No desire for what? No desire for sense gratification. No desire for economic development. No desire for karma or gyan. Now we've heard this verse, and what does your mind tell you? Well, that's me, right? That's me right there. No desire for karma. No desire for jnana. Well, did you ever think that if I just had a little bit more money, I could do better service for Krishna? One person said yes. All the others are already fully above and beyond this. Not like millions or billions, but just, kichu, just little bit. Just enough for service. But pure devotional service is not dependent on that. In fact, we can see in the pastimes of the Lord, he had countless devotees who manifested this. And some of them were beggars, and some of them were kings. But they considered devotional service their only property. Just like Sridhar. Do you know who Sridhar is? Yeah, most people didn't know him as Sridhar. They knew him as Kolavecha, as the banana guy. You got the banana guy, the coconut guy, depending on which country you live in, the flower guy, the mali, the one who makes the malas. You don't know his name. You know his job. He's known by his trade. So when Mahaprabhu manifested his godhood on the altar of Shiva's Thakur, he was sitting there and he was giving benedictions for all devotees. He called for everyone. And he called for Sridhar, but a lot of people didn't know who Sridhar was. Till they found out, oh no, yeah, the banana guy, you remember. And they went to get Sridhar. He was the other side in the forest in a little hut, bamboo hut, thatched grass roof with leeks on it. And Sridhar was so poor that the only utensil he had was a broken, rusty, beat up iron pot. That was his only utensil. For number one, for number two, for bathing, for drinking, for showering, for cooking. That's all he possessed. Sridhar was so poor that when the thieves would walk by his hut, they would look the other way because it pained their eyes to look at Sridhar's poverty. It pained them so much that they just looked the other way. Now, Nimai Pandit, as Lord Chaitanya was known in his youth, every day he would go to Sridhar's hut and he would engage in love fights, in quarrels, for at least 1 hour, often 2 hours with Sridhar. And he would say, Sridhar, I need some bananas. Give me good bananas. So Sridhar gave him best bananas. And he said, how much? And then Sridhar quoted the price. Now you have to know, Sridhar was so compassionate, he was so kind, that he would only put minimum markup, not like nowadays, mark up everything 100% and then 100% on top of that and like that. No, just a little bit, just enough. Why? Because he did not want to give pain to his customers. He was so considerate. And with whatever little he earned, half of it he would use to worship Mother Ganges. So Sridhar, he was so poor, that is not imaginable. So Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, he would say, this is way too much. I will give you half price. Your bananas are no good. I will give you half price. And Sridhar said, look, if you don't like it, then go somewhere else. There's plenty of people selling bananas. He said, no. If I have a good supplier, I will not give him up. I will take from you, but not at this price. Today, I'm not paying you anything. And he would just grab the bananas and ran away. And Sridhar went, what is this? You're a Brahmin. You're not supposed to steal. You have to be truthful. Every day he would fight with him. One day, Nimai Pandit came and said, Sridhar, you're a great rascal. You're a great imposter. You're a great cheat. You're just pretending to be poor, just so that people have some sympathy for you. But actually, you're the wealthiest person in the whole world. In fact, in the whole universe. Very soon, I will expose you to everybody, how wealthy you are. And Sridhar said, me wealthy? Look at me. Look at my house. I have no food. I have holes in my clothes. And Sridhar said, just wait. Nimai Pandit said, just wait. Very soon I will prove it to the world. So this was going on. And so Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, he showed his form as Vishnu. And he called Sridhar. And he said, Sridhar, ask for a benediction. Ask for a boon. I can give you anything. And Sridhar said, I don't want anything. I'm fine. He said, I can give you wealth greater than Indra, the king of heaven. Sridhar said, I don't want it. He said, look, you're poor. Look at you. Look at your clothes. You're poor. He said, I got bananas. I'm fine. Nimai Pandit said, I can give you mystic potencies. I can give you all the yogic cities. Anima. All those? It's going to come up in the test. Prakamya Vasavita. Being smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest, reading people's mind, influencing people, getting things from faraway places. I'm not even going to tell you all these things that you can do. I can give you that. Sridhar said, no. That would simply be a distraction. I don't want that. He said, Sridhar, I can give you liberation, mukti, right now. Right now, you can be liberated. Sridhar said, why are you so agitated? Calm down. Relax. Nimai Pandit said, look, Sridhar, it's not for you. It's for me. It makes me happy if you accept something. He said, oh, okay. If it makes you happy, I'll accept something. Do you want to know what Sridhar asked for? Do you want to know? Yes. 5 people said yes. The others, cover your ears. Because if you hear this, you're going to cross that line, like the Viraja River. You cross that line, you can't come back. So, are you ready? Yes. Sridhar said, my dear Lord, wherever you appear, in whichever universe, the only boon, the only benediction that I want is that please allow me, let me be there. Let me witness your pastimes. I want to be that person who will supply to you bananas, banana leaves, banana flour, and banana root. I want you to steal from me. I want you to engage in these love fights. And Nimai Pandit said, Tatastu, you got the job. It's yours. So if you want to be the banana guy, sorry. Job is already taken. But you can be Sridhar's assistant. You can assist Sridhar. That is possible. So we may think that, oh, if I would just be, I'm not into Gyan. Huh? Anyone a Gyani here? Anyone to Gyan? I mean, just look how many people show up for Bhagavatam class, right? Definitely not into Gyan, right? But have you ever thought, if I would just be a little smarter? I mean, not like triple PhD smart, but just like remember a couple of verses? I know people, and I have godbrothers who can memorize entire chapters by heart, by memory, and just recite them. It's pretty impressive. Some people have photographic memory. They can razzle and dazzle. They can make the stars come up on the sky. And I can hardly remember my name sometimes. Ever been in that situation? You arrive at an airport after taking 3 long flights, and they ask you, what's your father's name? Where are you from? What are you doing? And you're like, that is a very good question. Let me think about that for a little while. So if we would just be a little smarter, then we could certainly render better devotional service, right? So when Lord Chaitanya traveled South India, he met this illiterate Brahmin who was sitting in the temple courtyard, reading Bhagavad Gita, turning pages and crying. And everyone was making fun of him. They all thought this is just ridiculous. Yet, Lord Chaitanya, he saw his mood, his bhava, and he appreciated. So he asked him, my dear sir, can you please share your heart, your realization? And he said, my Gurudev has given me an impossible instruction. He has asked me to read Bhagavad Gita every day, but I'm illiterate. So every day I sit here and I turn the pages. Most of it I don't understand, but I follow the instructions of my Gurudev. Lord Chaitanya said, but why are you crying? He said, whenever I read or try to read Bhagavad Gita, I remember this picture of Parthasarathi, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, having so much love, so much affection for his devotee Arjuna that he becomes his charioteer, that he drives his chariot. And when that picture comes up in my mind, then my heart just starts throbbing and my eyes well up with tears and I cannot contain myself. And Lord Chaitanya embraced him and he declared, you are the Acharya, you are the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. You teach everybody Bhagavad Gita. So pure devotional service is not dependent on karma or gyan. Lord Chaitanya told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that mukti, in the true sense, is not contrary or opposite to bhakti, but it is included. It is a byproduct. Liberation is a byproduct. You know, when Dhruva Maharaj was asked to go back to the spiritual world, death personified came. After Dhruva had finished his morning duties and he had done all his prescribed duties. So he was about to board the Vaikuntha airplane. Then one person came running and bowed down to him. That was death personified. And he stepped on his head and he went and boarded the Vaikuntha airplane. But then he was feeling immense gratitude in his heart for his mother, who had given him good instructions to go to the forest to search out Vishnu. So he was thinking like that, and as he was thinking like that, the Vishnu Dutas, they motioned to him, they showed, look, your mother, don't worry about her. She's also coming. She came in a different airplane. So for a devotee, liberation is not really a goal. It's not really something that they're striving for, that they're planning for. Otherwise, it can easily become a preoccupation. I want mukti. I want liberation. I just want to get free from suffering. Have you met people like that? Have you ever felt like that? Have we ever felt like that? I just want to be free from suffering. Well, what does that mean? Free from suffering. I am pain-free. Oh, great. Wonderful. Like as a great achievement, right? I'm free from pain. Is that such an extraordinary accomplishment? Not quite, right? In comparison to pure devotional service to Krishna Prema. So here, Mahadev is glorifying the Lord, and he's glorifying the Lord by glorifying his devotees. And he is illustrating these wonderful qualities that pure devotees and saintly persons, they only desire the highest goal in life. They only want devotional service. That is the highest goal. Why is devotional service the highest goal? Why isn't there any other higher goal than pure devotional service? A lot of people will argue with that. A lot of people will not understand that. They think, how come you can just be into this? Do you sing any other song besides this Hare Krishna? Have you heard this before? When you do kirtan? Why not other songs? There's so many songs, right? There's so many songs to sing, so many places to go, so many things to see. Why only Krishna?
Bhakti vino kuno sadhan ditinare fal, sab fal dei bhakti swatantra praval.
Khub bhalo. Bangla bhashe.
Bhakti vino in Chaitanya it is explained. What is bhakti? Bhakti means bhakti rasya bhajanam. Devotional service unto Krishna is defined as bhakti in Gopal Tapani Upanishad. So we consider that is the topmost because by the execution of karma, jnana or any other activity you do, devoid of devotional service, it cannot render its result. Bhakti vino kuno sadhan ditinare fal. No other execution, either karma, jnana, yoga, they cannot independently render any result. That has to be practiced along with bhakti. That's why bhakti can be in form of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for the pleasure of the Lord or chanting Bhagavatam. That is discipline.
Thank you. Did you get that? No. You can't successfully perform karma or yoga or gyan or yagya or puja or anything without bhakti. Otherwise, it's just ritual. It's just mechanical. So unless there is bhakti there, it's not complete. There's something missing. And in fact, even if you have bhakti, and you may do all these other things, but imperfectly, not in the prescribed, in the perfect matter, still, Krishna will accept it. Now we shouldn't take that as an excuse. Yes.
Even in our sampradaya, when we are performing deity worship, we are always asked to start the deity worship with chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Those who have learned from a bona fide authority, they understand this. Because we are not qualified to chant those mantras perfectly while worshipping the deity. So when you start with chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and end the deity worship with chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that encompasses everything. If there is anything wrong, anything deficiency is there, that will be nullified by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is so powerful. That is the element of bhakti.
Thank you. Bhakti parishunu bhava viraktir anyatrascha chaishatrika ekakala pratyadyamanasya yatashnatashyus tushti pushti kshut apayunugasam. Tushti pushti kshut. When you practice bhakti, what happens? Bhakti paresh anubhav. You get direct experience of the Lord through bhakti. You had darshan today? Radha Madan Mohan? Direct experience, right? You can see, yes, this is the source of all beauty, the source of all joy. Krishna is the ultimate object of our affection. Viraktir, detachment. How do you know whether you're making spiritual advancement? Virakti. Okay, no, I don't want that stuff anymore. I'm okay. I'm good. No need for that. We only have 100% attraction. So how much am I attracted to Krishna? Well, how much am I attracted to things that are not related to Krishna or to non-Krishna? Hare Krishna, Sarvama Prabhu. So, Bhakti Pareshanubhavo Viraktir Anyatrascha. It's just like the example is given, just like while eating. That when you eat, what happens? Tushti pushti kshut. So, there is taste, there is satisfaction, and then the hunger goes away. You feel like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't need anything anymore. Do you feel like that in your life right now? I don't need anything anymore. I'm complete. Wonderful. Great. So the process is working. The process is working. And if I don't feel tushti pushti kshut, then I'm doing something wrong. Something is missing. Something is missing. So here, Lord Shiva is glorifying Vishnu by glorifying his devotees. Bhavadvidha bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirti kurvanti tirtani svantakstena gadabrita. That the devotees of the Lord, this is Yudhisthira welcoming Vidura with these words after he came back after a long absence. He went on a long journey because he got ousted from the palace and then he went on a japa walk for 20 years. Did he ever go on a long japa walk? After he had something to process, something to digest? It's called the Vidura moment. When you realize that maybe my family, maybe my organization, maybe my country, maybe my people don't like me as much as I thought. Then you go on a long japa walk. And after 20 years, he came back. And that's how he was received by Yudhisthira Maharaj, who said, saints like you are verily holy places personified. If you go to a holy place, you get purified because of the holy, the sanctified atmosphere. You take bath in the holy rivers and lakes. But it takes a long time to get purified. But in associating with saints like you, that purification happens instantly. Why? Because the pure devotees, they carry Krishna in their heart and they can give Krishna to others. Krishna is their property. As we mentioned, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavat Bhajanon Mukasya, Krishna says that somebody who don't claim proprietorship in this world, I become his property. So, if Krishna is your property, you can deliver Krishna, right? That's why we say that taking shelter of the devotees is something that is crucial, that is essential. It is at the core of our practice, because you can't avoid the Lord's devotees and think that, oh, I have a very good relationship with God. Have you met people like that who claim to have faith in God, but they were really not so friendly and not so much appreciative of everybody else in this world? Have you met people like that? People who are screaming and yelling in a walking street or on a university and waving some book at people. And whenever I see people like that, I'm tempted to go up to them and say, excuse me, sir, I understand you have a very important message that you like to share, but the way you're trying to do it is not working. It has not worked, it does not work, and it will not work. But then I catch myself and I avoid talking to them. Why? Because there's only one way how you deal with fanatics. What is that way? You don't. That's the only way you can deal with fanatics. And it doesn't matter which denomination. They may even be of your own kind. So, recently I was fortunate to have the association of His Holiness Niranjan Maharaj, and I went to see him in Mayapur before I left in spring, and I gave him updates on a few things he asked me about. And after about 5 or 7 minutes, he looked at me very sternly, and he said, "Is this everything that you wanted to tell me? Is this everything that you wanted to speak about? Or is there something really important that you came to me for?" And I realized, walking on thin ice here, like, pin drop silence. The sadhus, when they turn on the heat, it goes pretty hot, pretty fast. So I I just mumbled that I would like to hear about your realizations about Vipralamba Seva, about service and separation, because it's a topic that's important and it's close to my heart, because it's not something to be taken lightly, and it is something that is an acquired taste, yet it is intrinsic to our practice of bhakti, service in separation. And he started speaking about gratitude, that when we're grateful for what we have received, for what we have been given, then our determination, Jai Sisi Radhamaran Mohan, Shishi Gonitai Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. When we have gratitude for what we have been given, then our dedication and our surrender increases tremendously. And he was sharing a dream that he had of Srila Prabhupada, and he was with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada took his head and was pulling it towards him, towards his feet. And he was sharing how this bhakti process is intrinsically about gratitude and taking shelter and taking guidance. And after pouring his heart out for 25 minutes or so, he very humble and meekly closed with the words, he said, "Thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart with you." So I felt very inspired by that. I saw that in the course of our interaction and the relationship that we've been having, that Maharaj was always making the point that this should be transformational. This should not be transactional. It's not just, okay, I got something. You brought the money, I got the goods. Okay, let's. Sometimes relationships become transactional. Have you noticed? You just, okay, all right, job is done. Okay, I got what I wanted. Now I can move on. But it doesn't really touch the heart. It's not really something that's memorable. So people are looking for transformational relationships. They're looking for something that actually touches their heart, that actually is memorable. And if we immerse ourselves in this practice of bhakti by taking shelter of the bhaktas, the pure devotees, and those who are serving the pure devotees, then by their mercy, by their blessings, we can also gain such a taste, such an affinity, such an attraction. Atha pitedeva bhajambujadvaya prasadaleshanugrihita evahi janasya tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyaikopi viran vichinvan. Lord Brahma, he prays that, this is after Brahma Vimohana Lila, he says that some people say that I'm intelligent because of various reasons, but I have to conclude that I know nothing. I only know one thing, that without a little bit of mercy of you, Krishna, I cannot do anything. I am completely useless. So, I was just in the Caribbean now, and as we were doing Harinam and distributing prasad and the holy name and Prabhupada's books, one man, I asked him, after he received and he contributed, I asked him, how are you doing? It's not so easy to have conversations when you do Harinam, and you've noticed, especially if the Harinam party is running and and you have to catch up with them. It's not so easy to have a little bit of a conversation. But have you noticed, if you ask people just, how are you doing? And you actually mean it, not just like, okay, I've said my bit and now let's move on to business. But we already had done the exchange, and then I just asked him, how are you doing? And he was surprised, because it's kind of unusual, right? That some stranger asks you, how are you doing? And he looked at me and he said, It's like this. At the end of the day, no one can help you. Not your family, not your friends, not your nation. Nobody can help you except Krishna. Have you ever met people who gave you some sutra, some little bit of insight, and you went like, wow, this person has got it? Huh? You ever met people like that? Who say something that just sticks in your head and you go like, wow, how can this person have so much realization? Now, he didn't get up in the morning and did, Mangalarti and chanting rounds and all these things, as didn't seem like it, but he had that realization. And that realization came, and he was sharing it with me. It was very inspiring. So if we want to deepen our love for Shishi Radha Mohan, Shishi Gonitai, Giriraj, and Krishna and all his different manifestations, then let us collaborate in a mood of humility, in a mood of selfless service, of appreciation, inclusivity, and that will not only attract people, that will attract Krishna's mercy, Krishna's intervention, that he will allow us to reach people that are seemingly outside of our reach, seemingly outside of our reach. And that is most people. Most people are outside of our reach. Have you noticed how hard it is to reach people? Not just nowadays, because as we're moving into this, Antya Lila, that a lot of our seniors, they're just withdrawing from the transactional world. Have you noticed how people are withdrawing? They're going more internal, and they're just not engaging anymore on this level. So if you want to meet them, you have to meet them on another level, the level of selfless service, the level of vipralamba seva, service in separation. On that level, they are accessible. I remember this class of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, very short before he left this world. And he was very excitedly sharing that this is very wonderful, as we will be more and more together in the future. And I was thinking, what is he talking about? We'll be more and more together in the future. Like this is his last part, Yet that was his mood, that was his vision, because pure devotional service is not limited by time and place and material circumstances. It is the eternal function of the soul. It is our eternal constitutional position. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanade Shuddha Chitta Koryodoi. It's just a reawakening. It's just, we get rid of all the other things that are distracting, that are conflicting. And then the pure devotional service, which is inherent in every living entity, will manifest itself. And that is not an artificial thing. It is not a show, but it is an awakening of our heartfelt desire to please Krishna, to please all living entities through this practice of devotional service. Yatredyante katam rishtas trishnayo prashamo yatra nirvairam yatra bhuteshu nodvego yatra kaschana. That whenever and wherever Krishna Katha is being discussed, whenever the Bhagavatam is being read, there is no fear, no envy, no material affliction, at least while the Bhagavatam is being read. That sounds pretty good, right? Have you noticed that even ever there is difficulty, you just pick up the Bhagavatam and you read one verse or even one paragraph, and all of a sudden the anxiety goes away. Have you ever been in anxiety? No. This is Germany, right? Everybody's got it figured out. And in case there is plan B and plan C and plan D. But sometimes material nature makes life a little difficult. And then we are forced to take shelter of Krishna. And if we do so, not in a mood of not being resentful, but in a happy mood of loving cooperation, then Krishna not only makes us free of fear and anxiety and material affliction, but we'll gain great taste, great insights, great joy in this practice. Just like when Gop Kumar, the hero of Briya Bhagavatamrita, was sharing with the uneducated Brahmin, he was telling him that about his journey. He was explaining his whole entire journey throughout this world, throughout this universe, throughout all the worlds, even the higher realms. And there is also this part where he comes back to the spiritual world. And Krishna, Vishnu, he embraces him. And he's saying that I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you so long that every day I came here to this place where we met the last time before you left this world. And fate had me dancing like a fool. Today, my friend will come back to me. But you didn't come. You didn't come. And thus, I felt so desperate that I broke my own rule. I broke my own law. What is Krishna's law? Ye tama prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyam. You have your freedom. And I reward you. I respond. But it's your freedom. I broke my own rule and I appeared as your spiritual master to show you the path, to show you the way how to get back to me. So much I was missing you that Krishna interfered with his free will, with his freedom. Have you had Krishna interfere with your free will, with your freedom? Were you happy about it, or did you not happy, right? Not happy. Thank you for your honesty. Yeah? When Krishna interferes, there's always that, okay, does it has to be like that? Or is there something a little more agreeable here? Are there any other options here? Are you ever looking for options? Or is it just me? Do you like to know your options before you... But when Krishna intervenes, are there any other options? Does Krishna give you other options? Krishna makes it very clear that this is what I would like you to do. This is what I would like you to do. And that oftentimes manifests in quite unusual ways. And oftentimes the devotees of Krishna are involved in that. So Krishna Janmashtami is coming up. A lot of devotees of Krishna are coming here as we speak, this very moment. And it is a wonderful opportunity to engage in the service of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan by welcoming them, by appreciating them, by sharing our hearts with them, by serving them, by providing accommodation for them, by providing Krishna Prasad for them, by hearing them out, especially senior citizens. Have you noticed? They like to be heard. And you'll be surprised that they all have a lot of nectar to share. Everyone has got nectar, realization in their heart. I was talking to a person who had seen but had never had that much interaction with. And at the end, before parting, I asked him, is anything that you would like to share with me, some instruction, something that you feel is important to me? And he looked at me for a moment and he said, listen as well as you speak. I said, okay. Thank you. I don't think anything needed to be said after that. That was enough, right? But have you noticed how the devotees also, they can give you like these little sutras where you're like, okay, I get it. I'm going to go do my homework now. And it's ongoing. So we're very happy to be here at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan in the association of the devotees in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And we pray that they that all of you will forgive me for my shortcomings, for my past, present, and future offenses. And say a little prayer for this fool. It's a long journey. As Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, that to traverse the material world is very difficult. But with the stick of the mercy of the Vaishnavas, it is quite possible. It is quite possible. So thank you for your kind attention. We have time for reflections, comments, and if there are any questions. We have our seniors here. Huh? Any? Yes.
I have one question from the yesterday class. Maybe you should look first for today.
Yes.
You make yesterday one very nice point. First, thank you very much for this waking up class. And yesterday you make a very nice point. So when the pujaris are making puja or some seva to the Lord, and one guest comes and there's no other in the temple room, then
no other person to receive them, yes.
Yeah. And then you explained that the pujari should stop to have the guest to come clear here in the room. You can explain that a little bit deeper? Is this words from Srila Prabhupada or who say that?
Well, our acharyas say that. It's our tradition because we're not smartas. We're not into ritual. We have to understand why we're doing the ritual. Why are we doing arti? Why are we doing dressing? Why are we doing all the things that we do for the deity? Why do we do it? Krishna already is all attractive. He's already the most beautiful. He owns everything. It's all his. So why are we doing this? To attract all living entities to Krishna. So if, God forbid, some living entity wanders into the temple room, they actually find us, even though we did not put the right information up on the web and on the flyer. It's still like 3 places ago. We haven't updated our listing. Nobody answers the phone or email or letters. But God forbid, somebody actually finds us and walks into the temple room. Then we just ignore them. Have you seen places, even like Vrindavan, people walk in and they look all around and they walk out the other side. They don't see the deities. They don't see anybody. They just, selfie mode, picture, and they just walk out and disappear. Have you seen like that? So, if we want to understand what is the right thing to do, we have to understand what is the meaning, what is the purpose of all the, of all the worship. And then that means we have to understand Krishna's heart. What is he concerned about? He's not concerned about the perfect circle. He's concerned about his devotees, and especially those who have forgotten that they are devotees. So then, the devotee, he will go to the extent that he may interrupt one service in order to do another service because he understands the priority, how Krishna prioritizes. Just to give you an example, when Govinda, who was Lord Chaitanya's godbrother, disciple of Ishwar Puri, but had been instructed by his Gurudev to serve Lord Chaitanya. And so when he was serving him, one time, Lord Chaitanya, after lunch, he was so tired, he just laid down right in the doorway. And normally Govinda would go and massage the Lord's legs and feet after his meal. But he couldn't do that because he couldn't get in the room. And so he mentioned if he could move aside a little bit. And the Lord said, I'm too tired. You do whatever you like. So he placed the chadar of the Lord over him, and he stepped over him into the room, massaged his legs and feet, and then waited there. And when Lord Chaitanya woke, after about half hour, 40 minutes, he asked him, why didn't you get up and go eat your lunch? And he, in his heart, he responded, he said that, no, I cannot do that because I would have to step over you. But then why did you step over me when you came in? How did you get in? For service, we can break certain rules. For sense gratification, no. So we cannot take liberty and say, okay, I'll diminish, I'll cut corners, I don't do this, I don't do that, for my own convenience, for my own enjoyment. But sometimes a lesser rule can be broken or adjusted if you fulfill the higher rule. Is that clear?
When some people coming here, they are personally invited by the Lord.
Yes.
The personality invited by the Lord, this is our duty to serve.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Sure.
There was a controversy in Switzerland. We had one Puchari was very strict, and another was kind of more liberal, and sometimes it happened that at 12:30 the curtains were closed, the people were rest, and some Tamil guests came from far away for darshan. They were late, and the one Puchari was more open-hearted. He opened the curtain again. He said they came all the way to have the darshan, and we think, oh no, the Lord wants to sleep now, but they should be servants of the Lord, not the Lord is servants of them. I really loved that move, and later I was in Mayapur, and once the Gilas, Asaf Kumar, Saladina, and Quetta, came at 4 o'clock to have darshan of machinery. Uncle Chanti Babu opened the curtain, and it reminded me of one statement once Prabhupada made. He said, we don't treat VIPs specially because they're VIPs, but we treat them specially because they can do special service for Krishna. When you look at when a guest comes to Krishna, he's special. When the Gilas, when they gave huge donations, so it's something special. Prabhupada treated George Harrison and the people special because they could do much more than maybe the general bhakta for spreading Krishna consciousness. So I think in that consideration, great.
Thank you, Gauralila Prabhu. And thank you for answering the calls when I called you 40 years ago. Yeah, you know, when you remember those days when you had landlines and you tried to call the temple? You remember those days? If nobody picked up, it was the right number. But there was 3 people, Gauralila, Atmatattva, and Rajavidya. They would always pick up and they would answer all my questions. I was just a kid who was going to school, you know, but they always answered my questions. So thank you for that. Prabhupada treated everybody who walked through the door as a future leader of the Hare Krishna movement. And he saw the deficiency in them. But he chose to see the potential in them and interact on that level. And guess what happened? They became the future leaders of the Hare Krishna movement. That's exactly what happened. And that's how the movement spread. Because Prabhupada was not stuck up on details. But he saw what is the mood of the Lord. Thank you. Other points?
I want to share short to this point. I have the same experience in Schloss Rettershof. I call this number and kein Anschluss unter dieser Nummer. And that was really by Krishna's mercy. The devotees find us. And Rameshwara was the first devotee.
Yeah. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Jai. Comments, reflections, questions? So a lot of devotees are going to come, and there's a lot of opportunities for service, especially as things are still building up. There's a lot of groundwork to be done, so that's why we close a little early today. And I would like to thank the devotees who have kept such amazing standards of deity worship. It's just mind-blowing to see the deities and to be here It's very, very, very endearing. So thank you for this dedication and surrender, but especially for sharing your love for Srila Prabhupada and Krishna through your dedicated service. This place is very dear to our heart, these deities, and we're eternally grateful that we are allowed to be in the association of devotees, that we can see, as Lord Shiva here is appreciating the devotees who are exemplifying all these beautiful qualities of bhakti, of being totally dedicated and selfless in their mood of worshiping Krishna. It's very attractive. It's what brought us here, and it's what keeps us here, and it what inspires other people to come here. This mood of selfless service. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Vanchakam Vischa Kripasmi Vecham Vaishnavi.
Navina Nirada Prabhuji ki jai.